What's up, this is GM, and before I start, I want to tell you about TubeBuddy. In case you don't know, TubeBuddy is a free website that will help you manage and grow your YouTube channel. Thanks to them, some of my videos even show up as top results. Want to give them a try? Check the description below for the link. Today's product is LByzHan's 10-inch ring light. So in the box we have the ring light itself, a tripod stand which I've already hooked it up to, 3 phone holder clamps, and a few bits and pieces for putting it all together, as well as a manual that pretty much goes through how to set this up. It's pretty simple and straightforward setup, but I'll show you little bits on where exactly everything attaches in a little bit. But I wanted to go ahead and start by going over some general info, then going into my thoughts on it with a final pros and cons list. So here's some general info. It is a 10-inch or 26-centimeter ring light. It has 3 light modes, warm, cold, and a mid-level daylight. The color temperatures ranges are 3000 Kelvin, 4500, and 6000 Kelvin. It has 10 brightness levels going up or down by 10% increments for each of those 3 color temperatures. And as you can see, it does have 3 phone holders that can hold phones as wide as 3.5 inches. It uses a USB power end, which means you can use it with a power bank as well, which I will show in a bit. The tripod goes between 19.5 inches and 82 inches, which is 49.5 centimeters to 208 centimeters. And the total weight with everything on it plus the tripod is around 3 pounds, so it's not really that heavy when you really think about it, considering how big the tripod really gets, and with the extra attachment right there, as well as the full ring light. Alright, so let's take a quick look at how it sets up. It's a pretty simple setup actually. It might look a little complicated, but it really isn't. So we have the tripod itself from this point down, and it has a screw right there that will go into the center piece. And then the center piece will hold 2 clamps on both sides. And then what you would want to do is you want to attach this little ball socket on top, and then put the ring light on top of that. And then on top of that, you would put on this little arm piece with the phone clamp as well. So it is very simple. It might look complicated, but it really just makes sense when you get it all and see it all together. Alright, so let's take a look at the full tripod. Right now I don't actually have it open all the way, but what I'll go ahead and do right here is I'm going to loosen this up. And by loosening this up, I can raise and lower this as needed. So let me go and loosen it up some more. So as you can see, you can extend it all the way like that, or you can make it completely flat like so. Just like that. So you can make it completely flush to the center rod, and then use it as a monopod as well, like a selfie stick if you need to. But let's go ahead and open it back up. For most of you, you probably won't need it to go really much more than this. Just for stability wise, you don't want it to go completely down. I would prefer personally just to keep this as flush as possible, probably around there, just to keep it as sturdy as possible, where this part is kind of flat. And then once you get it to the point that you want to, you can just tighten this up right here. And make sure you get it pretty tight, and this way it won't move at all. As you can see, it is very, very sturdy. So once you get it pretty much flush like that on the bottom, you can make it taller with these 2 knobs right here. So I'll go ahead and open up the first one just to show you. And it's already probably way out of view because it does get very, very tall. I'll go ahead and tighten that up and show you. It went really high. It is already taller than I am. And you can still raise it even more by loosening this one right here. And voila, this is pretty much just a little bit lower than my roof at this point. It goes all the way up there. So this ring light is, or at least this tripod is amazing. Like, you will not have any issues with height for this ring light setup at all. Honestly, this is going to be perfect for every single person. I'm just amazed by how tall it really gets. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you the buttons on this. So the buttons hopefully will come up decently well over here, maybe not too well, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and plug it in so that way you can see a little bit better, because then it'll be lit up a bit.
Alright, so now you should be able to see it just a little bit better than before, but at the bottom we have the power button, and then the top button is to increase brightness, the one right above the power button is to decrease brightness, and the middle one is going to be for cycling between the 3 different light modes. So I'll go ahead and turn it on. Alright, so what I've gone ahead and done is I've just placed my phone down here and I have the ring light up here. I'll be turning it on, switching between the lights, and it's actually very dark in my room. My phone is, or my camera is adjusting for the lighting a bit, but hopefully you can still be able to tell a difference once I start turning on the lights. So here we start off with the warm yellowish light, and this is at a max brightness right now. It doesn't look as bright right now because my camera is adjusting for all that light, but if you see when I put my hand in front of it, it is pretty bright. So I'll go ahead and switch between the different colors. So then here we have the white, or kind of like a light bulb type of light. And then this one's kind of in the middle. As you can see, this is probably what you'd see more in stores or in like an office. This is the type of light you would probably get there. All right, so now I'm gonna go and just reduce the brightness one increment at a time so you can get an idea of the brightness levels that you get. So I've already started decreasing it one at a time. So as you can see, the brightness gets really low, but it's enough for what you may need because you want to have a lot of different adjustment levels for whatever amount of brightness you need so it doesn't overwhelm your video or your pictures. All right, so I went ahead and put my old phone into this ring light holder, and my phone is actually extremely big, so it takes up a lot of space, but it actually fits very well in between the ring light. It's a little hard to tell in this situation just because the holder is going to put the phone a little bit forward, so it's a little hard to actually tell. Maybe if I go to the side a bit, you might be able to see it a little bit better. But as you can see, since this can pretty much adjust, you can put this in a landscape, a vertical, whatever you need for this. And then here we have, I've went ahead and put my phone down in the bottom holder. As you can see, since we do have both are the same, it would work on both sides no problem. So I wanted to go ahead and give a little bit more info on why I really like this ring light, because I've reviewed a few others in the past, but there's something about this that's just really nice. The first thing is the tripod. There are some really big pros of having this type of tripod. The main one is how sturdy it is. It won't break nearly as easily as a normal tripod would, and the legs don't take up as much room either, since it mostly just tripods at the bottom and then extends, as I showed earlier, in the center area as much as you need. The tripod can be used as a selfie rod as well, as I mentioned earlier, so you might be wondering why you might need the 3 phone holders though, because that might seem a little excessive. Well, actually there is a reason that I think it's very, very helpful, and that's for live broadcasts or live streaming. So some of you might need something like this if you're streaming on multiple platforms at once, if you want to make them all live streams. You could set up phones on each of these different spots, and yeah, you can broadcast in 3 different platforms all at once. And I know that there are some streamers that actually do that, and they use a similar contraption as this to do such a thing, and the fact that you have the ring light is as well very, very helpful. I like that it's a USB because it gives you so many more options for using it. As I already mentioned, you can plug it into a power bank, you could just plug it into your laptop as well. You could also use a block and plug it into the wall. The reason I'm a big fan of using it with a power bank is for when you're doing photography or videos in the dark, maybe in an area with no plugs like a park, you could just pull out a power bank and you've got pretty much a full lighting setup without any of the hassle. And I'll go ahead and show you how it actually works because it's pretty nice that it just works like this. So earlier when I was showing you the lighting functions, I actually had it plugged into a power bank. And as you can see, it is working no problem. So it's really great that you could just take a bunch of power banks with you and power this ring light with no issues. And then as I mentioned, you could also just put it into a block. And then let me go ahead and grab the switch. And there you go. It is working no problem. As you can see, I plugged it into the wall down there. So there's a lot of different ways you can actually power this, which is a really big plus for this ring light. I also like that it uses a ball joint, which is right over here, because it gives a lot more freedom on how you face the ring light and your phone. So as you can see, if I loosen a bit, you can pretty much turn it however you need to without any issues. It has that full 360 turnaround. And that's something you won't see in a lot of other ring lights because they have a very sturdy tripod. You can kind of adjust it in a lot of different ways, but it won't be as specific as what you may need. All right, so time for my final pros and cons list. Pros include that it works with the power bank as well as on a laptop. You can just plug it into a wall, whatever you need. It has 3 lighting colors and 3 brightness levels for each one. The stand is super sturdy, as I mentioned before. That really nice stand that also gets very tall. It has 3 phone holders, which is great for those of you who are especially streaming. It's perfect for overall YouTube videos, vlogging, really any use. And actually, one thing that I may not have mentioned is that you could just take off this ring as well and use this tripod for holding just your phone. So you could put one of these clamps up here where this is tied on, or you could put it up here as well where the ring is attached, and you could just use it as a phone tripod as well if that's something you need. The only real con I see is that it didn't come with the bag or a carrying case. However, it isn't such a big deal since you can just toss it in really any bag that you have at home and it'll be just fine. I've noticed a lot of ring lights like these, especially ones at cheaper price points, because I think this is like under $50. They usually don't come with carrying cases or bags. But again, that's not a big issue. It's very light. You can disassemble it and it becomes a really small little package. Just toss it into a bag and you're good to go. That's it for this video. Link to the product is in the description below. If you found the video helpful, I'd love it if you could leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment below as well. Thank you for watching.